Hey, you! Welcome to Obsessed!
Oh my God.
With hate.
Yeah!
Yes, leave it in. That was
Yeah!
good. Continue, sir.
With Paul and Trevor. Welcome to the Obsessed podcast, where we talk about what we've been just absolutely freaking obsessed with over the past week or weeks. I'm Paul. This is Trevor. Hi, Trevor.
Hello.
And PM's also
Paul.
here. He talks about stuff too.
I do talk about things. Thank you.
This
Mostly
is his
Apple
pod,
Vision.
Actually.
Yeah.
This is mostly his
Yeah.
pod, frankly.
Yeah, it's really-
He's the one who
yeah.
For me to
knows.
bitch about things that I'm obsessed about. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Exactly. Perfect.
Well,
Ranting.
that's
that's what it's about.
then let's freaking hop in, dude. Let's just dive into this. This cake. PM.
Oh, I'm just gonna go straight into it.
Lead us off.
Okay.
This is where you say what,
Yeah,
and then
dude.
I
We're just
lead
gonna
you
go
in.
in, man.
You know,
I'm taking a break from Twitter.
More coffee.
That's a big one.
Smart.
Obsessed.
Obsessed
Yeah,
because I literally am obsessed. No, I'm taking a break from both my accounts, and for those who don't know, I kind of run a nice micro niche celebrity account for Oregon State.
Micro
Yeah,
niche.
that's
I
what
love
I refer
micro
to it as.
niche.
Yeah.
That
micro
is
niche.
a phenomenal
Mhm.
phrase. Holy, I'm using
I
that all
went
the
to.
time. That's
I
great.
was invited to go to a basketball game. They gave me tickets behind the bench, and I got like a media pass too. And I showed up and sat there. In the student section, there was a few students who like saw me, looked at their phone, pointed at their phone, then pointed at me, and I was like pointed at myself, and I kind of put my hands up, and they did too. So like there was.
What in the world?
There was a lot of excitement. I took photos with people too, so it was really fun. But
Wow.
So why are you taking a step
I'm
back
taking a
right
step
now?
back.
Like this sounds like it's going
no,
great.
I'm just taking a step back because I don't know. Like from like with anxiety stuff and like mental health stuff, you kind of have like coping things to avoid feelings, right?
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
starting to tell that
Okay.
as of late, I was avoiding things by just going to Twitter, right? Like, oh, I'll just distract myself with Twitter. And
Okay.
I just was like, nope, this is a bad habit, and I'm just gonna pull away from for a quick second, then I'll come back. But yeah, I need a good week away from it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm 4 days into it. I haven't thought about it once. Which I don't know if that's a good or
nice.
bad thing, but I haven't even cared to even
I'd
open
say
it
it's
up.
healthy.
So
Well,
That's
it's also
great.
not football season, so like you know, what I mean?
Yeah.
I know there's other sports and like
Also true.
you know you can comment, but like yeah, I mean you
But-
you cut your teeth in football, so
Yeah.
you have a little space too. I mean, if that helps,
I will
guess.
say, like yesterday, I was at the gym, right, and
Mhm.
at like 2:30 Pacific, and we have a bunch of TVs, and I'm chatting with people, and I look up and I see mass shooting at the Kansas City Chiefs parade,
Yeah.
and I was just like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Mhm.
I was like, "What? How? Like, when did this happen?" And people were like, "Oh, this happened like 6 hours ago," and I'm like, a part of me was kind of like, "Thank God I'm not on Twitter," because like how often those things
Yeah.
happen and how just sensitized you are to it.
Yeah.
It was kind of nice not being a part of that world for a bit. And just not even understanding what's going on with all that. But anyways, that whole situation is super sad. But like that's a prime example of like how out like just disconnected I was completely. Like I had no idea that happened for like 6 hours after it happened.
Mhm.
So yeah. But that's
Yeah.
definitely one of the
It's
bigger
nice
things.
to unplug yourself.
Yeah. Or else you
For sure.
become
Yeah,
obsessed.
I constantly want to do it. So, I mean, yeah, I like it. It's like obsessed, and then what do you do when you get obsessed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there such thing as too obsessed?
How do we
Yeah.
deal with our mental health issues when we're obsessed? Yeah.
When we're obsessed with our stuff?
Yeah.
But what about toys? Okay, that's what you're not gonna do anymore. Or is there
Yeah.
anything you? What about you said
Mhm.
you've been working,
Yeah.
which you do a lot of
There's
things that you're really enjoying.
there's
there.
a really
How's that going?
cool AI tool that I use now.
Of course there is.
It's
Tell me about it.
it's for developers, and developers who are listening to this podcast will know who this company is. The company is called Vercel. And they make
Okay.
a framework called Next.js, which is the most popular development framework for web development. And they kind of brand themselves very much like Apple, where it's like very focused on developer experience and easeability and just things are plug and play and good to go. But they came out with a tool a while ago called v0.dev. And what it is
yes,
I know, right?
v0.dev.
So
Yes.
I'm going to try to find the best way to explain this. But when you do development,
Okay.
I want you to think of development like Lego bricks. Okay. And so let's say you
All right.
have a brick that is like, okay, this brick is going to handle a form, right? And this brick is going to
Mhm.
handle, I don't know, like a profile. And then this brick is going to
Okay.
handle this, this, and this. And so in development, that's called components. And what you want to do in good developer practice is you want to do reusable components. So you make a blank component and you basically propagate data into those components, and then you can reuse them across. And it's just a better developer experience. This whole concept was built by Facebook. That's why Facebook became so huge, was because the framework they were using was so
Really?
revolutionary with the constant updates and the chat features that this kind of kickstarted the new wave of web development, which is called React. And Next.js is a framework of React. So every website you pretty much have ever been on, besides like YouTube and Google, is pretty much a React based framework. That's
Okay.
just kind of the
Never
easiest way
heard
to
of
do
that. It's
it.
crazy.
But
Okay. All right.
so Vercel, they came out with an AI tool called v0.dev. And essentially what you do is you give it a prompt like, hey, make me a landing page that focuses on, a form. And it'll give you like
Okay.
these really good styled components that you just essentially copy and paste with the command into your
Oh, so
editor.
it can like build you blocks.
Yeah, exactly. So
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
there's an app we're working on, and essentially I was playing around with it today, and I was just absolutely in love with it, because not only can you tell it what to do, but you can also edit it within that framework too, like within their application. And then you simply want to
Mhm.
run like literally run a one line command in your terminal, and it just populates it in your editor, and then you're done.
Nice.
And so
Oh, cool. So if you like change one, right, and it's already being used in a bunch of different places, you built it in, it'll just update all
yeah.
of it.
hmm
Yeah.
So
Wow.
and
Okay.
Which used to have to be done
yeah,
by hand,
it's
right?
a
Or with like older
yeah. I
stuff.
mean, I can still I can do it on my own, but the reason why it's so great is because with web development, there's the web designer and there's the web developer, right? And the
Most
Yeah.
designer,
Different
especially
people.
as of late, thinks they want to just like it's just kind of this meme where design is getting so good and so animated and so revolutionary that the web developer just
Mhm.
like sits there and goes, I can't fucking make this shit. Like it's just not possible, right? And so this tool is great if you need to build something simple, but you're just not really good with design, because it'll spin you up something that is like really comfortable and familiar for like most of your users, and does it in a way that you can
Mm.
reuse it. So it's a good tool. Yeah.
Huh. I don't often think of those
dude.
two things as being separate, but they obviously are. Like you
Yeah.
have the person who builds the house and the person who furnishes it.
It is
Completely different
Yeah.
people.
having a web designer that understands user experience is crucial. Look
Mhm.
no further than Twitter as a reason why you need that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm,
As a dumpster fire.
yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah. Instead, it's just a guy dictating a bunch of stuff that he thinks is smart because he bought into PayPal 30 years
yeah.
ago, and
Buddy,
now he's a genius.
he's really smart.
Uh, that's really, dude, that's really interesting because I just like what up my brain right there was following along because uh, based on whatever program I'm using to make whatever I'm making at the time, which is right now it's Premiere, and noticing a lot of things I'm repeating,
hmm
and it's templating the same way, but like they don't have their tools aren't great for that, so it's
Yeah.
like hotkeying like I use the tint with the reverb effect all the time to emphasize stupid things I say. Like it'd be cool to like drag something over that's got all that stuff.
Yeah.
Put it. You can do
Like a
that. It's just
preset. Yeah.
it's just not great. It's just not a
I
great.
mean,
It's not very intuitive yet.
Mm.
It's
everything
very
you
technical
see on
still.
like a big website, even down to the buttons, even down to like the styling of a photo, the headers,
Mm,
the footers, those are all components that are reusable. So like they
mm.
just make them once and then they kind of place them where they need to place them. So
Yep. Makes sense.
everything is pretty much component based architecture. That is what the modern web is. And it's probably never going to change because that is a really really easy solution for a lot of people to get. But like when you get into development, you start with like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which I'm assuming everyone here has heard of, right? Those are like three
Yeah.
pillars of web
Yeah.
development, and anyone can kind of spin up just a simple dummy website, and it's going to be fast and it's going to be great. But when you come to like really complex ones, like Facebook or anything that you interact with, you need a framework that can handle it, and that's where React comes in. But the way you develop it is so different from what you were learning in kind of the vanilla stages that it's hard for the beginner to understand it. But once you get that they're really just like building blocks to put something together, you'll never go back to like any other route because it's just so much better.
Dang.
It's also just wildly efficient too when you're building massive things for things to just automatically update. Because I honestly remember that like a vague reference to that in the social network when
Yeah.
they're like, it needs to be, we have so many users that we need this to. So that's probably what they were. Obviously, they don't like get into the nuts and bolts because people would literally leave the movie theater. But uh, that is what they were working on. Like that's what they were all doing in that house. Like
Yeah.
it seems like you're like, well, dude, you guys have like it's like a social. It's not that there's not that many complicated things, but there is because everything's reacting to each other, changing because someone else somewhere else changed something. Then when you have tens of thousands of users,
Yeah.
things start to get like things can't break, and if they break and then you can't fix them for a long time, your users are
Yes.
gone, and that's the
And
thing. So that's really cool, dude. I that's really
well, yeah, I
interesting.
mean,
I'm glad.
Facebook
You bridge the gap here, Trev.
Facebook is
Oh,
responsible
yeah.
for pretty much the modern internet. Is a good way to put it. Facebook
That-
is the reason why
That makes a lot of sense.
we are here for that, which is why everyone loved it when it was at its peak, was because it was so unique and different, and the whole reason was because of React, which is the framework that they built.
I mean, Facebook is the internet for some countries.
That is true.
Like literally, it's like their AOL. Oh, AOL was how you got
what they
online
have,
back
yeah.
in the day.
They had a really interesting
Facebook.
thing that I found out about Instagram, where they had a problem with Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber changed the entire infrastructure of Instagram
Classic.
because he got
Okay.
too many likes on photos that their databases could not handle it. And so it would reach the max capacity
Oh.
and then start again. And that would throw everybody else's likes out of sync. Because all these things have to work together. Like if one goes, all of it goes. And so he was getting
I
so
didn't know that.
many that it threw everything out of whack. And so they had to like shut things down to accommodate for how many likes he had on
Is this
photos.
before
Yeah, this was
or
like
after Facebook acquired them?
I think it was right before it. This was like early Instagram. But yeah,
Man.
he was so popular that it forced them to change a lot of things for them.
Wow.
That's
Freaking
nuts.
Justin.
Yeah.
Wow, what a great little tidbit there. Dude, of course I'm like I could learn to shut up, Trevor.
No,
Shut
you
up, Trevor.
could.
My
I-
sweet heavens.
If you
I
if-
mean, no, I know I could. I'm
Yeah,
like, just
of
I
course
can't
you
do
could.
it. You cannot do it. Put it on the list. Do it in 10 years. Stop being weird. You have 70.
You have so many. You have 15 lenses. bought
You
for
literally
cameras.
started another podcast.
that is true. Don't do too many hobbies.
And I'm doing one live tomorrow, guys. Like my live one, my baseball one starts tomorrow. So I'm gonna go from 2 to 4.
Oh my gosh,
There you
man.
go.
But you know what? I love it. So
Oh, good.
Ooh,
Good.
what about any physical? Like, did you get any new headphones or anything? Or a new mic or anything?
I have the Sony's, the
Anything there?
Sony XM, whatever W1000. What I don't know why they name them like that, but it's like
The over
yeah, the
ears
over ear
or the-
ones.
Yeah, those are nice. I
I
love my Sonys. I have some older model ones. They're good.
Yeah, I went between those or the AirPod Maxes, and I went with the Sony's because the
Really?
AirPod
Didn't go with the
Maxes
Flex?
are just heavy and they hurt after a while, and they kind
Yeah,
of
but
look.
if you wear them, people know that you're rich, dude.
But they're kind of stupid.
They match your tights up.
And like I had those for a bit and they were fine, but like the weight of these Sonys
That's
is
good.
like nothing, and I can leave them on for hours
Oh,
and not
yeah.
have to worry about it. And it's USB-C, like it's bare minimum requirements there. Thank you, Sony.
Yes.
But I will say, like, the cool thing about the Apple ones was I can just put them on and they just connect to every single one of my devices. Like I don't have to do anything.
That is nice. Yeah, you have to hit the
yeah,
Bluetooth button.
and Apple knows that. Like that's what they're selling. Like that little
That's the
moment,
thing.
right?
They're aware.
Yeah, they're very aware.
Yeah,
of that.
unless you're in your office and they try to connect to 5
but they
devices.
can do that.
And you're like, dude, get away from me. They can, but I'm like, I want actually the stuff to come out of my speakers, and I have them hanging up. So if they get close to the wall,
oh, interesting.
They're like, we're on headphone. We're on a head now. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not on the head.
We're on a head.
You're on the wall.
Trevor's
so now I
head
gotta
looks
like
just
put
like
them
the
back in their
wall.
case.
Oh, I got breaking
That
news.
and the case they gave you is stupid. Oh,
Breaking
news.
The Oregon Senate committee just passed a bill to end daylight savings time.
Hey, lucky.
Oh,
So now,
Come on,
wow,
Washington,
good for you
let's go.
guys.
Come on,
now
Washington,
I
let's
no
go.
longer have to deal with that.
Does it have to get approved by the House?
No, I think this is the last step because it was trying to get approved for years now. I think this was the final one.
Oh, there you go.
So
now it's you in Arizona.
yeah, us in Arizona. I think everyone's going to move to
Congrats.
it eventually.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll see.
Yeah. Why do we do it again for
We'll see
farmers?
about it.
well, now that I'm not playing,
Farmers.
Right?
Something about farmers
Yeah.
and creating more daylight out of nothing. I don't know.
yeah,
Seeds.
just trying to artificially create more time.
Yeah.
because that's what we think we can do as humans. We suck.
Gosh.
Oh,
Trevor, what are you obsessed with this week, man? What do you got
so
going on?
many things, guys. So many things.
So many things.
No, I got a few cool things. So, one little piece of news. I actually got a video pushed to me that is actually touching on last week's episode a little bit.
Okay.
And, about the Apple Vision Pro and something that an idea that sparked in this. He's a developer himself and just a big unboxer guy. He's like us. He would love this podcast. Hopefully, we can reach him. He and I can't remember the creator's name. I don't think he is actually. He doesn't create a lot of things. He just does videos every once in a while, just to like, hey, this is interesting.
Okay.
But he was talking about the intersection. Every once in a while, we have these major like technological advances that continue to push forward, like the hockey stick or curve or whatever the guy who believes that the singularity is going to happen soon. Yeah, the arc going up, where we go. Technology goes so fast that it's just begetting itself. We're getting close to like the big one. And he's like, generative AI is big. He goes, there's trends that like are actually, they change our lives from a technology standpoint. And then there's things that are flash in the pan. Like he goes, I don't want to say crypto is, but like, because Web3 is a viable, great technology for security. But like we mentioned recently, he's just like, but crypto itself is like, it's going to be more tempered moving forward. The people are just going to be more tempered around it because we've learned our lesson a little bit. I mean, it's still going to have problems, but it's just going to be what it is. It's not revolutionary because it's operating similarly to our old financial systems. Like it's still operating the same way, kind of. So, and it's not immune to that. So that's the problem. So anyway, he was like, but never in the history of the humankind has two of these technologies. So like the iPhone was a big one, having a computer. The personal computer before that was the big one. The tech bubble, the internet was before that. And the internet's still kind of just part of these things now. It unlocked all the other things. It's like generative AI is very clearly like businesses are using this behind the scenes to do crazy stuff that we don't even hear about. So like it really is for life-changing. He goes, I think that spatial computing is the next thing. And he made the case that we made last week. He was like, I understand. He goes, the price point's kind of tough. Like it's not going to be like a huge consumer product right away. But the idea that you can move things in space around you and you don't have to have the physical objects in your way or moving them all the time, that is a major pay point all human beings have, and it will be gone. And I was like,
that's why I said don't invest in
I would use it as monitors. Like that's exactly what he said.
That's all I'm saying.
He's like, you won't need things on your desk. You can do it anywhere.
Out of monitors.
You can be on a plane and watch a movie on a 100-foot screen, like things like that. He's like, that could change lives. That will change our life, and that with AI could be now two of them going together speeds it up. Well, God knows how fast. It's really exciting. It's scary a little bit, but it's also very exciting. So I was like, oh, we just talked about that. That's awesome.
That's cool.
I would like to jump on that because you mentioned what so for those that don't know, I work within the blockchain sphere. Like that's what I develop in. Most of our projects are crypto related projects, Web3 related projects. And while yes, the whole industry is pretty much scammy right now, and that's totally fair to admit and be totally fine with it. A lot of people forget the data aspect of the blockchain. They just think financials, right? They just think, oh, Shiba coin to the moon kind of thing, right? But where I think this is going to head to, because artificial intelligence, yes, is going to take over a lot of creative things, a lot of back end things, but at the same time, we need some way to verify whether or not this is from somebody or from like an AI source, right? And so
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
databases that are centralized are mutable, and mutable is a term that means that you can manipulate them, you can change them, you can change, do whatever you want to them, right? Like that's how
Mm.
accounts who might break rules like Donald Trump's gets banned, right? Because it's a mutable data entry where essentially
Yeah.
they can do whatever they want with that thing. When it's a decentralized system, all things are immutable, and so you cannot change it. It's permanent, right?
Yeah.
It's set in stone. And so there's going to be this fascinating intersection where on the underlying side of a lot of artificial intelligence will be a blockchain layer that verifies cryptographically if what it is coming from the actual source. And
Ooh,
I
which will be
I
important in it with
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
AI.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to work on like a little white paper for a standard for photography where there's a tag. So the EIFF tags, that's what it's called, I believe. That's like the
Yeah.
metadata tags of like date, location, size,
Mm.
name, and stuff like that. It would be
Oh. Okay.
really good to incorporate a hash, property where essentially it points to a transaction on chain that says, hey, this came from this person at this time, this location, verifiably can't, alter this, so on and so forth. Because
Mhm.
then someone can go in there and be like, yep, this is a legit proof thing. This isn't Donald Trump naked standing outside of a hotel. Like this is, this, and this, right?
Yeah.
Especially with election season coming up. Like I hope all you guys are prepared for
Yeah.
how
Oh,
shitty this
yes.
entire year is going to be with AI, because
My
it is.
parents will be
Yeah, dude.
fooled
Yeah,
by a deep fake.
if
That will
you
happen.
if you get a phone call from
Yes.
Joe Biden is not calling you. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just going to
Joe
put that out there
Byron,
right now.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And maybe Joe Byron.
Joe
Yeah.
but no,
Byron.
I think all like I do like that's a fantastic way to put it, right? Like this is really the first time ever that we've had, I would say, three of these massive technological breakthroughs just colliding at once, right? And
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
course,
absolutely.
the VCs will tell you, "Oh, this is now the next big thing," and "Oh, this is the next big thing." And when in
Yeah.
reality,
Yeah. Because money.
they're all the big
Mhm.
thing. They just need to be so abstracted that you
Yeah.
never interact with them. Straightforward. Yeah.
And
No, it's
so
exactly.
I understand it too. Like what we're talking about, the three big things we're talking about are AI, blockchain, and virtual/augmented reality. Right? Those are the three big things we're talking about. Am I okay? Yeah. Because I mean, I can't remember if I talked to you guys about this or not. I don't know that there's a way to feasibly verify AI created images or videos because I don't know how you solve the screenshot problem with that. Like, I mean, basically, if you're going to have like a deep fake of like, Biden or Trump doing something, and your parents like, did you just see that Biden just had a three-way with Kim Jong Un? Like, no, like I did like that. That didn't happen. That's crazy.
It,
That's
it will. It might have
insane.
happened. We don't know, but
Um,
yeah.
it might have, who knows? You know what I mean? But like having like the video of it or something, or the photo, I would use blockchain to verify that. But I
Mhm.
mean, that really is the job of quote unquote metadata, which would be attached to the photo.
Which you wouldn't even think
Like
about.
a lot of photos have metadata. Yeah. But you could strip that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this wouldn't be integrated at your level. This would be integrated at
Mhm.
a core computing level. So when you do make a screenshot, what ends up happening
Mhm.
is the operating system generates that hash for you. Not something that you do. Or like the
Mhm.
application when you're done exporting a video will include a metadata tag on
I
top of it,
see.
right? Like
On the user side,
yeah. And you can't
got
remove
it.
it.
Yeah.
And it
Which I feel like then, oh, I mean, now we're knocking on the door of privacy issues. Of like every time I take a screenshot and
mhm.
export that, it's permanently attached to like this is the IP address that
Yep.
screenshot came from.
Yeah.
Well, the IP address feels like enough, but I don't know. I guess not, because every time you go to a website, you give it out. But
Yeah, and
that's
Yeah.
Yes.
But the
Mhm.
problem is and AI is going through this too right now, and I'm not going to try to make this political in the slightest, but it's hard not to ignore it. You kind of have a certain side, whether it's left or right, and you know which side I'm talking about. That if you use this technology, you're considered the devil, in any shape or
Mm.
form, right? And I think there's
AI,
so
you
many.
say?
I just
Yeah.
put my thumb up and then put a thumb up my video. That's so funny. And speaking of AI, there you go. But like, there's certain people that say using AI art is disrespectful to the artists, and you are ruining
Mhm.
art, and you are a terrible person, and this and this. When in reality, they're probably using ChatGPT to write their emails, and they don't even realize it. And oh, if
Mhm.
you use the blockchain to, I don't know, do something with healthcare in the future, you're terrible because that transaction fee of a fraction of a cent is just awful. And it's like we've now put in the stigma that any new technology is dystopian, right? That's the stigma
Yeah.
we have now, because we're so afraid of Wall-E, we're so afraid of iRobot, we're so afraid of all these movies that have told us we can never have these advancements, because if we do, we're screwed, right?
Mhm.
Like everything's
Yeah.
going to shit. No, exactly. Like
Yeah.
there
Yeah,
was
exactly.
a
We just
there's a
it
developer
didn't
that I
happen to
watch
us.
on YouTube called Fireship, and he's hilarious. And he essentially came to the conclusion that, like, if artificial intelligence will come over, like basically take over, do you realize they're going to go through and be like, okay, what's causing all these problems in the world? And they're going to deduct that it's humans. And then eventually they'll be like, yeah, you guys are
Yeah.
the problems. And then kind of figure this out. So like I thought like that is terrifying, but like no, I mean we seem to put this label that every new piece of technology now, we didn't do this with the iPhone, we didn't do this with the laptop, we didn't do this with anything else, but it blockchain, AI, spatial computing, it's all dystopian and it's going to ruin the future. Right? Like
Mhm.
that's the label we immediately throw at it, as opposed of looking at it like, oh, blockchain actually allows countries like Colombia to actually have an equal opportunity to earn a living wage, right? Like they don't have to worry about their
Yeah.
government shutting them out. Oh, AI is actually really
Or
good. Yeah,
corruption
or
or
corruption, right? Like AI is good
yeah.
because then the guy who's running 4 jobs to make his, basically live his life can now automate tasks that free up his time. Or oh, spatial computing is cool because who doesn't want 10 monitors right above their head, right? Like that's a great solution. But no, we have to immediately default to the worst thing. Yeah, it's just,
Oh, sure.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's what they were trained on.
That's a good point. Yeah. They in all of these movies, they do that. You're right. Yeah. We kind of fall short, or like they fall short of complete machine response where they're like, yeah, humans are the problem. We must get rid of the humans because that's the problem. But they don't ever finish the line of thought. Yeah, like then you're gonna be here, and then
You guys,
yeah,
we are so
it's
far
weird.
away from this. Like I give ChatGPT the most simple coding prompts and it does it wrong. And then I tell it like, no, you're supposed to do this. And they go, oh my God, yes, you're right. I am so sorry. And then I'm like, yeah, okay, we are so far away from this ever
Yeah.
becoming a reality.
Then you're like, you stupid idiot, and it's like, uh,
Although I will
hmm.
say, yeah, I will say when we get the quantum computer, when that gets done,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't need like hyper cold cooling, which apparently was solved this last year. When that becomes something, the one thing you should be terrified of is password protection. That is the one thing you should be scared of, because
Oh, sure.
it can brute force. Yeah, it can brute force anything for you. And the issue with modern
Mm.
computers is if you try to brute force things, I think it said it would take like 400 trillion years to eventually come up with a solution for everything. But with like a quantum
Mm-hmm.
computer, it can do it like in a year. And so there could be a serious,
Yeah.
yeah, like that is a serious worry. Like that is a very, very
Yeah.
serious
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Obsessed.
Obsessed, dude.
Upset.
Oh, sorry.
Obs-
Obsessed. I can't do it. I can't. Yeah, there's no. No, all right. Shoot. Jeez. Amazing. New thing. Yeah. Yeah. And mm.
Mm-hmm. Sennheisers, you said, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Oma World, I think. Oma World. Yeah. They're beautiful. Oh my goodness. Mm. Whoa. Dang. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You should definitely should. Yeah.
It's a. It's,
It's not crazy.
it's actually not that expensive for like that kind of
Yeah, all
microphone.
things
Yeah.
considered.
It's actually the most budget friendly. That's the weird thing.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. No, of course.
That reminds me. I need to tell you something about
Dang.
an AI product after this that you would enjoy.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jeez. Yeah. Hmm. That's that's really cool. That's a fun feeling. I'm excited to watch the unboxing. I want to see this thing. Do.
Um, I'll have to ask the name of it, but there's an AI extension you can add to meetings now, that transcribes your meetings and saves them as notes, um, for you. Um, God, I'm blanking on what it's called, but essentially, when you do a Google Meet or a Zoom Meet or whatever with anybody, you can just bring it in there, and it'll record all the notes for you, so you don't have to do it.
Like a GPT.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah, it's cool.
Well, I mean, hey, no, I mean, we've been on a roll. It's been really fun talking about this stuff. So, nothing crazy for me. You know, bringing it back to gaming. I've just been really having fun with Helldivers 2. That's all. Great game, a lot of fun. The dopamine hits are strong and often, and it's just a lot of fun playing with buds too. Playing with buds is a ton of fun. Basically, it's like Starship Troopers esque kind of a thing. It kind of leans heavily into the whole um, future Earth. Earth's a conquering planet, and we have propaganda about democracy being threatened. So it's by bugs, by machines. The mech menace, we like to call them, or the bug menace. And yeah, it's a ton of fun. The opening scene is literally just like a propaganda video. It's really funny and pretty cool. And the first people who die are like this, like a family, and the guy's like the husband is like no, as like a grasshopper type thing just rips his family apart, and he's like, look familiar? That was me a week ago, but I joined the army. You know, it's like it's funny, and it's kind of campy, and it's really cool. A lot of fun with it. Apparently, sure. Oh, dude. Yeah. Good question. So yeah, basically, you can play with up to four people, or you can play solo. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have this map in your ship. Everyone gets their own ship. You get to name it whatever you want within given names. Mine's called the Mother of Law. I like to call it the Mother-in-Law. That's just what I like to call it. And you kind of go over this space map you see different planets that need to be liberated, and there's a liberation percentage, and it's all real time. So people who play the game with you, or playing the game at the same time as you, I should say, are going to these same planets doing similar missions. And the more people are at a planet, the more literal destroyers you can see in orbit around you. So you're not necessarily playing with them, but you're playing alongside of them. And it's very cool. So you see everything happening in real time. So like when you call something down, like an airstrike, a flare or a beacon gets put down, you can see that on the planet surface from your ship. So you see all these like beacons going off, and mortars going down, and rail guns being shot, and those are all real things happening in real time by other players. So it kind of creates this camaraderie feeling, and it's just a blast. It's a ton of fun. I mean, yeah, it's yeah. Yeah. Yes. No. Exact. It renders what you're doing, but it like knows what everyone else is doing. So you do see it happening kind of around you in the distance, but you are on your quadrant section of the map or of the planet. And it's great. The dopamine hit of calling in like an eagle, which is basically just like a fast mover, like a jet dropping a bomb, or an A-10 basically coming down and just sweeping the ground with 120 millimeter shells and just blowing up a bunch of bugs, is like, whoo! Oh God, it's satisfying. Just get that vein ready. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, yeah, dude. Just it's it, obsessed. That's my obsessed for this week. Yeah, man. Bring it back. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go pick up. Yeah, you get like samples to increase your gear, or like buy more stuff. She's like, I'm gonna go get the samples. Like, okay. Yeah. She's putting stuff in her pockets. She sees the shiny. Yeah, it's great. Helldivers 2, man. Oh yeah, I'm obsessed with it. So yeah, that's right. You did. That was pretty good. Yeah. Sorry. Thank you. That was a lot of learning. Yeah, dude.
We're on Odyssey. Ooh.
Ooh. Hmm. Upset.